Okay, now we are here with Maestro Loris Tjeknavorian, one of the most veteran and outstanding composers and conductors. And he was a friend of Horner's. And now what I'm going to ask you, Maestro, is what do you think, basically, what kinds of elements James Horner's music used to have that established him as a very bestseller composer and a popular composer, so that so many directors and so many audience, coming out from all around the world, to get him music and pay him a great deal of respect. What do you think of his music, in general?
First of all, I'm very, very sorry to hear about the recent accident. About his death. I'm very sorry about it. We met probably 30 years ago in London during one of his recording sessions with London Symphony Orchestra. His music is very transparent. He doesn't use very much chords that is complicated. He has nice tunes and keeps it very, very light, and it communicates with people. It's not the complicated melodies, it's not the complicated harmonies. It is a very beautifully orchestrated, and it fits the picture, and that's what it means.
Because Maestro, as you know, his music film back in 1996 for James Cameron's Titanic, has been referred to as the most bestseller album, during the history of film music. The point is, nominally, reared as a trained classical music in Royal College London, and then in Valerie, School of Music in America, Horner, coming from a genuine and technically an American family, was very prone, to use Celtic music, to use Eastern music, sometimes he used choral music, blended with some sense of, rather different than classical mainstreams. The point is, what do you assess, his sense of music? Do you think he was, looking for something more than usual, that the mainstream used to follow?
I don't think so. I think as a film composer, he was not trying to do any gimmick, and nothing. He had a wonderful technique and everything, but he was not just using his technique to show off. He wasn't there. He was not in a position. He wasn't putting in his position to show his technique and his knowledge and intellectuals, and so he was just honest to the picture, and he was fitting the music to the picture. That was his success. And of course, he could have written a symphony, or he could have written a big ballet music. But for film music, he knew exactly what is best for that picture, for that moment, and that was his great success.
And finally, Maestro, I'd like to know, just out of curiosity, do you think of his music, good enough so that you could give it a performance, so that you get on the podium and conduct an orchestra while playing in a score of his?
I'm sure every single film music he wrote, he could have made a suite out of that. He could have made a suite of 10-minute suite or 15-minute suite, various sequences of the film, and to make a big suite of that particular film. And
because they've done that, so you have no problem at all in conducting his works, for instance.
It would be wonderful to conduct the works, and not only me, most conductors will be happy to conduct, because it is beautiful music, and it communicates with people. Everything nowadays needs to be communicative. It's not really good to be avant-garde, pseudo-intellectual, to act like that.
Definitely.
It just has to come from heart, has to communicate from heart to heart.
And do you think people, I mean musicians, should, keep up doing good works, by keep writing orchestral music, or you think that they are doing good, so by sticking to electronic music and trying to putting that and in the place of orchestral music. Why do you think the orchestral music is going to be faded away? And what is the solution for that? Do you think people like James Horner, belong to the last generation of, symphonists?
Everyone is a leitmotif in this world. Everyone is a melody. Everyone is an idea. It's individual, and you cannot change an individual, and you cannot say this individual is good or bad. It's individual, and we have to respect. Even he writes a music that you don't like or you don't communicate, this is the way he or she feels. That's what it is. Going back to James Horner, he wrote the music genuine, coming from heart to heart. He communicated with people. He understood the picture, he understood the light, the color of the picture, the story of the picture, the message of the picture, and he did not detach himself from the film in order to show his technique or to show his intellectualism, but he was there to match the music to the picture, and that was his great success.
So finally, you mean, he used to do his duty, matching the movie and music in the best.
It was not his duty. That was his character.
That's great.
His style. That's what the way he saw the film. This is the way he.
So fingers crossed, you could conduct one of his scores, pretty soon, by a highly respectful, and an appreciable orchestra in America and in his homeland, where he died, unfortunately.
I will be very happy and very honored to conduct one of his compositions, and I'm very, very sorry that he's not among us.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Bless his soul.